G'day mate and welcome to Desynced with me, Jetty. Today I want to talk about, well, signals, parameters, registers. It's got a couple of different names inside the game, but they all functionally mean the same. What I want to do is I want to talk about these four buttons here. And how you can use these to simplify your life. Just start with a little bit of simple automation. We're going to add to more as the game progresses, but early on, a little bit of automation definitely helps out. So first off, let's talk about, well, these four and how they work. So the first one we're going to talk about is goto. Now, goto, you've been using the whole time you've been playing the game. Every single time you right click, that is a goto command. We can demonstrate that by left click and drag, and if I drag it out here, this actually puts the coordinates down here. So this is 139 by minus 53. That's the exact coordinates for that tile. That should be, well, 140 minus 53. That should be minus 54, so on and so forth. So that is the exact coordinates of where this dashboard has been told to go to. Next one is the store register. Now, the store register is a lower priority job, but the idea behind the store register is if his inventory is full, or he's got nothing to do, he will go hang around at the store register. So if I drag this and put this on here and clear that, that would probably help. And he's got anything in his inventory, he will go drop it over there, which means generally if you've got a bot out wandering around, cleaning up resources, it means as long as their inventory ends up full, he's gonna go back to, well, exactly that location. And if I give him well, that's a bad example because he's driven over and picked it up. But as we can see, because it was a store register, he went and took whatever was in his inventory and dumped it in there for us, which is great. That's exactly what we wanted. Next up we have is the visual register, which again, you've been using the whole time you've been playing the game, and we can set this to anything we want. Absolutely anything. And we can set this to, 20. 20. And if it's set to 20, it's going to say 20. If I pick something that actually has something in it, like this guy, and I say crystals, and I set it to 0, it's going to say 0. If I set it to infinite, it's going to display how many is actually in his inventory. So very, very handy if you want to keep track of who's doing what and what they're doing and why they're doing it. And this shows up on the map if you have the correct overlays on. I should mention that. So we have 3 different overlays that can be accessed via the tab menu. We have no overlays, being not the default actually. The default is visual registers only. That is the default one. This is the one you've probably been playing the game as, but you can turn them all off should you want to turn them all off by pressing the tab button. If you go to the third option, which is visual registers, status, icons, and ranges. This one's a little bit more interesting. This gives you a bit more details about your bots, and you can see sort of what they're doing. So we can see Mr. Dashbot here is, well, idle, whereas Mr. Crystal Miner is not idle. I don't know why he's not idle, but he's not idle. Technically he's probably connected to the logistics network, which is doing nothing, whereas Dashbot is not connected to the logistics network, hence why he's idle. But yes, this is one of the things you can do. Okay, next thing we actually have is the signal register. Now, the signal register or the signal parameter is really designed to be used and read by other machines nearby, okay? So we can use that, obviously, to have anything within the range of this building or this bot to read information from one another. Very, very simple data can be sent across. So I could set this to, I don't know, foundation plates, and then I could use further automation outside the scope of this video to then read that information from that bot. But that's not going to happen within the range of this bot. So if I hover over Mr. Dashbot, we can see down the bottom left-hand corner, he has a visual range of 10. If I look at a crystal miner, which happens to be just a worker, he also has a visual range of 10. I don't have, I know where my scout is. My scout's at a number 1. Also has a visual range of 10. Some bots have higher visual range, others do not. If you have a radar, you'd knock the range up to about 35. 30? One of the two, I think. So that is your 4 registers, 4 parameters. Now, most of these operate in both a read and a write condition, which is very, very handy because then we can link them together with some very, very simple automation. But before I get into the very simple automation, I just have a favor. I have a small favor. Something I just like to ask is, can you just do me a favor and throw a like on the video? Hit the subscribe button if you want to see more tutorials about Desynced. Also, can you do me one more favor? Can you just throw a comment down on what sort of tutorials you'd like me to break down next? Or even just copy and paste an emoji. There's a helpful little robot in the title of the video, and we all know engagement helps feed the YouTube algorithm. And if you search for this video, chances are someone in the future will thank you for doing your little part in making this video show up in their newsfeed. Because now we've talked through these different signal registers, I want to put some of the things we've covered into action. So we have a little crystal miner here, and normally in a default operation, it's hooked up like this. So we can see that he's mining crystal. We can see how much crystal he's got in his inventory, just one. But if I tell him to stop, he loses that information, which is annoying because I don't know what he was mining. I know he was mining something because he's got a mining laser on him, but now I have no idea what he was mining. And again, this is another register, another parameter that we can access. So what I want to do is I want to set up my miners in a way where I know what they were mining. So we're going to set up a visual register for negative, infinite crystal chunks, and then I'm going to hook that up to there. Then I'm going to hook that up to here as well, or vice versa. So we can always set it up this way instead. So from signal into that parameter, back out to that parameter, and then I can set this way, and we can see exactly what he's going to mine. On top of that, because these are linked now, he will search out any crystals within, well, his visual range, being a visual range of 10, and he'll automatically go and mine the crystals. So if I move him far enough away, like over here, oh no, there's crystals down here. He found crystals. Link that back to there and set you for crystals, infinite. It's got nothing to do, can't see any crystals. But as soon as he wanders close enough, one more tile. One more tile. There we go. He can see a crystal, he can go and start mining. And that is as simple as linking the visual, the signal register. So if we cancel these again, linking the signal into the input of our laser, linking the output of our laser back into the visual so I know what it is. And then as soon as I click this and say, well, infinite, which either way of going down to -1, which will be infinite, or dragging the bar all the way up, we get him set up to do, well, that permanently. Also, rather than setting each of these guys manually, what I can do is I can press C and press V, and I can copy and paste the orders across. Now, as you can see, this particular guy has 20 crystal in him, but here's a chance, as these slots are not locked, although I want them to do crystal mining forever, there's a chance he might wander off and do something else, possibly very, very slim. What we can actually do to further automate things is we can make sure that they're linked into the logistics network, which they normally are, but I can make sure that, hey, you are not allowed to deliver items. You're not allowed to deliver things. I want people to come to you to get crystals, but I don't want you to go anywhere. At the same time, we can right click and say fix slot to this item, which means he's only ever going to have crystals in his inventory. So again, if I hook this up and I set this to be crystals and I set it to infinite, it means that he is hooked into logistics network, which we can access with a right click. He can supply items, so if somebody wants some items, he can go drop them off. So if somebody wants crystal, he can go drop them off. He can request items, so for some reason, if I want to add more modules to him, like capacitors, because he's wandering just outside the power network, I want him to have a little bit of backup power, we could add that as well. And other bots can come and get crystals off him should they want to. Okay, we can take this a little bit further, just a little bit further. Can I cancel that, and cancel that? Let's just try and clear everything back to a standard point. All right, we can take things a little bit further. So we can have our store register linked to our go-to register. Okay, other way around? No, I think that should be right. Yes, and then we can drag this to our dashbot. Yeah, so he will now take all his stuff and drop it into a dashbot. That's great, that's a good start. If I take my signal, link it back into my miner, and then back into here, and I set this back to crystal chunk, infinite please, he will mine crystal chunk until he's full of crystal chunks, at which point he'll drop them into the dashbot. Now, if the dashbot is linked to the network with a right click, there we go, supply items only, that means other bots can pick this up from the dashboard. But it also means if I copy and paste this to here and this to here and this to here, and I take Mr. Dashbot, who's now sort of in charge of these guys, and wander him away, you guys are going to take a minute. Oh no, our inventory is now full. So because our inventory is now full, or we've mined out all the crystal, they're going to come back to Mr. Dashbot. Wherever Mr. Dashbot's gone, and wait here till Mr. Dashbot's inventory is empty. By the same token, if I change you to transport route, and I take this particular guy and I say, hey, I want you to store in here, and I want you to pick up from here. We now have a single transport drone where his only job is to go here, pick up everything from the Dashbot, the commander Dashbot, and drop it into this storage. And that is his only job in life, to go back and forth. Now, these guys are going to finish mining out until they've finished their current area. But as soon as they're done, they're going to find our commander bot, and pop back over to our commander bot, waiting for their next task, their next job to do. As we can see, our little transport bot is also sitting around, hanging around, waiting for, well, our commander bot to have some more resources. As soon as one of these guys finish, 19, 20, come on. There we go, 20. He can't do anything anymore. We'll throw that into that guy. Yep, he's now got 20 as well. And we'll see, they'll drop resources in there. Our transport bot will take off with them. The next guy, our next crystal miner, will also drop resources in there. And our transporter will take those across as well and dump them into storage. There's little automation things you can do just to get yourself up and started. But I don't want to stop there. Don't want to stop there. There's a couple of things, other things I want to cover. So we already know we can drag our signal register to the input of a lot of items. So I want to drag that to the input of, well, 2 assemblers. And then I want the output of the 2 assemblers to get dragged to my visual register, because I want to know visually drag. Okay, drag. Thank you. I want to know visually what they're doing. But if I set this to circuit boards, and actually let's go with circuit boards 1. I say circuit boards 1, they'll process one circuit board for each of them because it is being duplicated. But if I set this to circuit boards infinite, we can see that they're going to produce as many circuit boards as possible to fill up storage. Unfortunately, this example already is full of storage. Let's just move those out to there. But at the same time, because it's infinite amount, I get a readout of exactly how many is in this machine currently. So we can see there's currently 40 in here, and when somebody picks them up, there's now 20 in there. And because this is set for an infinite loop, these guys are just going to keep processing. But it also means that very quickly on the map, I can see, if I set you to circuit boards and I set you to circuit boards, these are normally linked down to here, so I can see what I'm doing, but I've had to, well, select 40 and 40 and select what I want and tell it to craft it, so on and so forth. Whereas in this method, if I decide that, you know what, look, I don't want those anymore, we're going to go with the reinforced plate. Yeah, just set that for infinite now, and we can see it instantly changes both recipes at the same time. And if I want to go back to circuit boards and we set you to infinite, we can instantly say that we see that we've changed the recipe on both of them at the same time. Also, we get a nice 24 neat rather than, well, the 2 different 23s. Not a fan of the 2 different 23s. I'd much prefer a single cohesive number. And again, C and V on the keyboard. So C to copy, V to paste, and we can just change the settings from one machine to another. We can do more than just that. Another example is you. Yes, so again, this is a what is it? It's 1 by 1 with 2 small, and again, we're just going to drag out from the signals and then in from our smelting into our visual, so we end up with this loop, and then I can set this to any number of items. As these come in pairs, they tend to process the same things at the same time. So this was set up for metal plate, and if I just set you to infinite, we get a nice symbol for a, well, actually it was set to ingots, but that's okay. We had a nice symbol for metal plate. Nice, simple, done, dusted, not too complicated, and also means if, oh, I set the wrong recipe. Oops. I'll change it back, and we get the recipe instantly changed over. As you can see, I have all of these set up this way because it just makes things so much quicker and so much easier to set up. But not done there. There's a couple of other things I want to talk you through, and one is going to involve a portable radar. So in a portable radar, we can link these different items to our robots, okay? So first off, I want to set a store register. I want to set a store register. You get anything in your inventory, you're bored, you've got free time, drop things back into this container. Next thing I want to do is I want to set a search filter for my radar. So what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to search for stuff on the ground. Stuff on the ground. There's always stuff on the ground. Stuff on the ground. Oh, you found some stuff on the ground. It's over here. It's a dropped item. It's I don't know what that is. It's a green cube. Green cube. Problem is, that's out there in the danger zone. The danger zone that could have anything out there. And if we hover over the radar, you have a range of 30. Can I? There we go. Yeah, our radar range is all the way out there somewhere. So we can see very, very far with the radar. There's also a chance that we might wander a little bit further out of the grid. So rather than giving him the opportunity to wander out that far, I can actually limit him by saying, I want you to look at dropped items on the ground, also inside the power grid. It has to be inside the power grid. If it's not inside the power grid, I don't want to know about it. So if we press P on the keyboard, that shows the power grid, and we can see that that little cube out there is not inside the power grid. Can I copy and paste one of those and set you to high priority and hopefully get built in a hurry? Yes, you can copy an existing building with the C button and then just drop it on the ground, hit paste, and voila, it gets built. So we can say drop items inside the power grid. Also, you know what? We could also say unsolved. It would look for a dropped item inside the power grid that's unsolved. That's probably not going to happen. But unsolved, or no, what's the other one I want? Can loot. So if we look at ruins, I have a ruin somewhere. The ruins that the explorables that we go check. If you happen to leave resources behind, you can set up a bot, and his one job is to pop over there and pick up stuff. But we can now, with the shift right mouse button, see that this is what he's going to try and pick up. The catch is I haven't told him to pick it up yet. He knows it exists, but he hasn't been told to pick it up. If I drag from there to the go-to register, he will now drive his way over here to pick up this resource. And then once he gets here, he's out of jobs to do. He'll do another scan. Can't find anything. Okay. Well, I've been told I need to go back to base and I need to go back to this container and drop it off, which he's done. Also means that if I take him to, let's go out to here and let's tell you to use this storage instead. Come on, little bot. Where are you? Little bot. Actually, I've got one set up ready to go. Can I tell you to store here? And can I tell you to pick up? And same story. He is going to... Oh, I've now got both of them here. And they're just going to go through and pick up anything that's on the ground. They're going to pick up anything on the ground until their inventory is full. If they get to an item that they can't pick up... he has scanned... Scattered resource. So he scanned a little bit of silica ore. He can't pick that up. He knows he can't pick that up. So he's going to go and drop it straight into this storage because that's where he's been told to take things. Once they're in that storage, well, anybody can pick them up from there. And his job is just going to be going around and cleaning up the map. Just doing a little bit of a sweep. Nothing too major. Nothing too over the top. But more importantly, he's also staying inside the power grid. So he is very, very safe. Very, very safe. And we don't have to give him any more advanced AI. We can give him a whole list of behaviors. A whole list of... I left the behavior controller up here. Of course I did. A whole bunch of code and a whole bunch of behaviors to make him... can I get you to go there instead? Yep. Whole lot smarter. We've finished mining out crystal. There's no more crystal near our original dashboard, our original commander dashboard. If I turn that back on, we can see that these guys are still linked to go to this guy. And if I bring him a little bit closer so they're within 8 tiles of this, they can see that crystal now, and that's full. Can I get that moved to there, and move to there, and move to there, please? And moved, and moved. Hey! Our little transport bot takes off, picks up, drops off things, comes back, empties our commander bot, and then these guys are going to go scan and find the closest crystal to them, and then start scanning once again. Yeah, you guys were never given the command. So again, if I copy, paste, 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 they're now linked to our new commander bot, and we now have a little bit of an automated miner. As long as he stays reasonably close to these guys, well, he's fine. He's fine, and he can keep moving things around. We can keep using a single gopher bot to transfer things back and forth. All right. I was talking about this, which I want to put in there manually, and we can go into behavior controllers. Now, behavior controllers are a whole separate thing. This is where we get into actual programming. We can, read the signal of another register. No, I was looking for component. Radar. We can start setting filters on the radar, have them do all sorts of scanning. Our radar that we were looking at before has many parameters we can look for. One of them being like, enemy. If you find an enemy, run the hell away, because he doesn't have any lasers. He doesn't have anything to shoot back with. We can just search for bugs. We can search for all sorts of things, and we can do some pretty advanced stuff with the behavior controller and actually add some logic to, well, the whole game. But that I think I'm going to leave for a future video. I just really want to cover the really basics of how to set up some very, very simple automation before you get into more complicated things like behavior controller. Yes, and also get you a simple mining setup. Also, if you want to take this mining setup outside the power grid, you can do that with, well, having a couple more bots assigned. You just need to have, can I get you? You assigned over here. Can I get you to grab portable power field, please? And can I get you to grab a solar cell? And you can also join the grid. Yeah, we're going to take them off the logistics network, but they should get delivered. Yeah. Request items. Yeah, it's on its way. As long as I have a solar panel, which is going to provide 50 power. Don't forget, every single laser is going to use 15 power, so you're going to need a couple of lasers to get a couple of solar panels to get things running. And also, where's my portable power field? Please bring my portable power field. Bots, bring my portable power field. No. Yeah, we can see the little red arrows. The bots are definitely blocking themselves in. This is not an ideal setup. It is just rudimentary to get you up and running. It's being delivered. You know what? You, come here. Grab that power field. Problem solved. You, go to that bot. Okay, I can then take them out into the wilderness, and because we have a power field with us, well, we can move power from our solar into our power generator, into our commander bot, into our transport bot, along with into our mining bots. Yeah. And they can all stay fully charged. Well, providing it's sunny outside. As soon as it gets darker, your mining may slow down a little bit. But capacitors, a couple of batteries, a couple more robots carrying a few more solar panels, you'll be up and running in no time. But this is where I want to leave this little video. I just want to cover some very basics to get you up and running. Also, don't forget your dash bot that's moving back and forth, transporting items, which... Yeah, cool. He can also carry power with him, so he could also have a solar panel just to, provide a little bit of boost of power. But like I said, what I want to do is I want to end this video here. If you want to see more tutorials, more helpful guides for Desynced, also probably delving into behavior logic in the not too distant future. Yeah, a little bit more in depth, a lot more in depth into behavior logic. By all means, hit the subscribe button, and like I said, can I just grab a like on the video just to help out with the algorithm? And if you wouldn't mind, leave me a comment below. What would you like to see next? What would be the next topic you'd like to see? Behavioral logic is definitely out there, but any other topics you'd like to see? All right, with all that said and done, as always, thank you guys so much for watching. Do hope you've enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video with more automated bots. All right, thanks for watching. Bye.